Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today we're going to take a look at the systems that are coming up for this weekend and into next week. Right now we have still cold air cumulus moving over the region, bringing some scattered showers. There are some rain shadowed areas across the Puget Sound, and this cold air is going to continue to move over the area through the day, but these showers should wane on into the afternoon. You see some mountain wave activity going on the eastern slopes of the Cascades there. Take a brief look around the rest of the country as well. There is a severe weather threat for the East Coast, and this is Friday night and Saturday's system out here, this cold air. And then you can see the jet stream starting to encroach across the Pacific Ocean. This is going to bring us a stronger storm system on in through Monday. We'll take a look at that in some detail. Now, taking a look at a little bit closer, you can see the cold air cumulus moving across the region, bringing the scattered showers. It should wane on into tonight before the next system approaches Friday afternoon and evening. Taking a look around the rest of the country, you can see this clear air here. This is kind of destabilizing the atmosphere. The sun's going to reach the surface here. It's going to bring severe weather all the way through Washington, D.C., Baltimore towards Philadelphia. There is a tornado threat with this too. There is tornado watch down here through the southeast as well, and even some active tornado warnings. There were some fatalities in a tornado last night here too, I think down in the Florida Panhandle I heard about briefly last night. So checking out that, you can see that tornado watch down there, some tornado warning actually currently underway right now. And this severe weather threat is going to extend all the way up towards the East Coast here. So heads up if you have any concerns out there traveling out towards the East Coast. You can see here that enhanced risk there. There's a tornado threat and mainly a wind threat as well. Not much of a hail threat there. So checking out back to the Pacific Northwest here, you can see our showers going through the area today. And as we go into this afternoon and evening, they kind of wane before this next system starts rolling through on the day Friday into the afternoon. Not a very dynamic system. It does bring a convergence zone across the region here. Looks like it's going to be fairly brief though. Before the next system start to roll in, and a potentially much stronger system coming through here on Monday. This is the NAM, 84 hours out as far as this model goes. But you can see Washington is over here. Here's Alaska, here's Southeast Alaska. And you can see this jet stream just really start to intensify across the Pacific Ocean here. Good model agreement that this jet stream is on its way. It's going to develop a pretty powerful storm on the north side of it here. How far north will it remain, or will it dive into Vancouver Island and really give us a blast here? Several different scenarios with the models right now. So here's the GFS. Taking a look now, you can see this is Friday night system, generally light amounts of precipitation, not a big deal, garden variety storm. Then another system kind of moves through Sunday night, and then you'll see the big storm out here developing out over the Gulf of Alaska here as it blast into the Queen Charlottes here on the GFS. Pretty tight gradient down through Washington and British Columbia here, and not as much through Oregon, but look at eastern Washington. A nice gradient sets up here as low pressure really emerges on the backside of the Rockies here, and it's going to keep that gradient going, bringing a region-wide pretty windy event here through the day Monday. And as we move into the extended, you'll notice that ridge kind of builds out here too, so that might result in a couple of nice days after this storm system. But cross your fingers on that one. That's still pretty far out in fantasy land at this point. So checking out the GFS here, you can see the system go through here Friday night into Saturday morning, that little bump, that little trough in the jet stream there before the jet really intensifies out here. Check out this purple, just comes marching towards the west coast of North America and just plows in, and it makes pretty good headway across the Pacific Northwestern. It's going to allow for that low pressure to continue across the Cascades and Rockies and redevelop there just over Montana. Now looking here, this is the European as we go into this. These are 24-hour totals. Check out the snowfall this system brings on Monday. You could get a couple feet of snow in some areas for the Cascades rolling up here, and we could get some snow on the higher hilltops here if enough of this cold air comes in behind this frontal system on the day Monday. So we'll see how that goes. We have a few days to watch for that still. This is 10,000 feet. This is last night's European model. You can see the system rolling through on the Friday night, Saturday morning. And as some cold air goes by us here too on the day Sunday, bringing another weak system. But look at how much cold air spills out over the Gulf of Alaska here. Look at the cyclogenesis developing out over the Gulf of Alaska as it moves towards the Queen Charlottes and Vancouver Island here. And we're going to take a look at the more extended European here in a minute. And here we go. Let's bring us back to where we were here. Notice this cold air spilling out over the Gulf of Alaska, and this powerful storm really moves into the north tip of Vancouver Island on yesterday's European run. That would pack quite the punch of wind across portions of Oregon, mainly Washington and southern British Columbia. This would really rake the region with a really powerful storm. As you can see, this cold air just spill in across the northern plains eventually, then maybe some ridging behind that for a day or two of nice weather. Cross your fingers on that one. We have time to look at that. Now, this is last night's or yesterday afternoon's European run here, too. It comes a weak system on Friday night, Saturday morning. Look at this jet stream out here. Just a monster jet stream, extremely powerful. Even for mid-November, mid-December, this is an extremely powerful jet stream just marching towards the west coast. All models are in good agreement with this powerful jet approaching. And the European just really packs a powerful punch with this storm. And we'll take a look at some wind speeds we can expect with that here in a moment. And then maybe that ridge behind that storm system in the extended. Here's the European yesterday afternoon surface pressure map. You can see the system just barely shows up here for Friday afternoon as it moves into British Columbia and kind of retrogrades back into southeast Alaska. And then I'll notice this system just come diving towards Vancouver Island. It's a monster low pressure system. This would cause a really powerful windstorm across areas of Washington, southern BC here. And this would plow through Idaho and Montana as well with a really powerful gradient. Look at this gradient that sets up across Washington. Each one of these lines is 4 millibars. This would cast a nasty wind coming across here. You'd probably get a dust storm through eastern Washington, a pretty significant one at that if this verifies on the European. Now, checking out wind speeds we could expect, you can easily see where this wind storm comes up here. It looks like Monday afternoon and evening right now. Actually, the wind does pick up there even in the morning. 43 at SeaTac. Look at these winds going through the Columbia Basin here in the higher terrain, the east slopes of the Cascades. And this really does get Oregon too as well. I mean, look at some of these wind speeds. You're looking at well over 60 miles per hour here for some of the higher terrain. And look at Seattle, over 50 miles per hour. Coastline well into the mid 50s. And look at eastern Washington just hammered with 60 plus mile per hour gusts in some instances. And this might include I-90 here coming through near Ellensburg as well on in through Tuesday morning. So a really impressive storm system on yesterday's European run. The GFS is on board with that yet. The Canadian is somewhere in between the two right now. So we will check this out again tomorrow and see what the models are saying. This is a Canadian. You can see that system move through Friday night, Saturday morning. But then look at this monster jet stream just come barreling down on us here. And let's update this to make sure we have all the data. The model is currently running here. And so you can see the model agreement with this jet stream just really plowing through Washington, Idaho, and on in through Wyoming here. It's going to continue to develop this system as it moves across the mountains and really cast a powerful gradient all the way through eastern Washington and eastern Oregon. So you can see the cyclogenesis occur near the Queen Charlotte Islands there near the northern tip of Vancouver Island as the storm plows in. So the Canadian has a pretty substantial system too as well. And let's take a look at the surface map and what that would look like on the Canadian model here also. So here comes Friday night, Saturday morning system. And then we get another low pressure kind of spin through southeast Alaska as this is only going out 126 hours. Oh, no. It looks like the Canadian's jumping around quite a bit. You kind of see how it went from 69 to 126. So it does show that system as it moves across the Rockies there, but looks like there's a problem with the Canadian model there. So we'll just skip that for now. But this is looking at a couple days ago, how the mean winds were generally below 40 miles per hour. It's actually quite a bit less than this 2 days ago. But you can see how the wind speeds kind of picked up. And now you're seeing a lot of 40 mile per hour gusts in here. This is a day and a half ago now, and you can see how the mean is now over 40 miles per hour for SeaTac, with some members showing 50 miles per hour plus for the Seattle area. Now, this was for yesterday early morning, and you can see how the mean was still above 40. Generally, a good agreement that we're going to get 40 plus mile per hour gusts for the SeaTac area. And this was yesterday afternoon. Check this out. Now there's numerous members with 50 mile per hour gusts, and we're well up into the mid 40s for a mean wind speed here. Virtually every ensemble run has 40 plus mile per hour gusts for Seattle. With the newly leaved trees and, you're getting your spring bloom, this could cause some damage to some of those trees as they're coming into their spring form. And this was last night's European run. You can see multiple members with 50 plus mile per hour gusts. Still, the mean is like 47 miles per hour here. That's a pretty substantial windstorm for Seattle. And there's going to be areas that get higher gusts than that, especially the higher terrain, especially places like eastern Washington, eastern Oregon, as we saw, and potential for a really powerful windstorm across southern areas of British Columbia if this European scenario unfolds. And this could bring some pretty good rainfall amounts with that system too. But right now, it looks like the story is the wind, and at the higher terrains, there's some really good snowfall that we saw on the snowfall maps there coming through there. Some areas, the higher terrains could get a couple feet of snow as this rolls through. So a really dynamic system for early April here. So we'll take a look at this again tomorrow. And right now we're just trying to pin down if the models are in agreement on the storm system. The GFS is weaker than the European and the Canadian model runs. Of course, the European is usually a little bit more trustworthy, but at this range, sometimes the European does go towards the GFS as well. So we'll take a look at this again tomorrow. Hope you guys are having a good day. You know, I'm getting a little bit excited to see what this storm system does here coming up. And it's going to bring a lot of cold air behind it with it. So we might have some thunderstorms on the backside of that even too, or a convergence zone through the Puget Sound. But right now, the big story is the wind and the snow that system would bring, and region-wide all the way through Idaho and Montana, eastern Washington, Oregon, and British Columbia, all under the gun with the system this strong. And there's the beginning of that jet stream developing across the Puget Sound. It's underway. Good agreement that there is going to be some kind of big storm that develops out of the Gulf of Alaska at some point there on Monday. So we will check this out again tomorrow. We'll see how the models agree, and I will talk to you then.